Hey there, I'm Jess Byrnes. Welcome to the Jess Byrnes Show. This is where ambition meets alignment. I'm a VA coach, business strategist, and freedom mentor, and I help service-based women unleash their power, scale beyond booked out, and step into their CEO era. Expect real talk, practical strategies, and inspiring conversations with women who've built businesses on their terms. If you're ready to create more freedom, more income, and more impact, this is the space for you.
Hi beautiful ladies, happy Thursday. I'm so excited to be here coming to you live. I'm a little bit out of breath. I just moved my new plant into the office. Just the top of the air conditioner was showing and I was like, ooh. Anyway, new plant, love new plants. Hands up all the plant ladies that are here in our group. I'm sure there's a few others. Hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jess Byrnes and I am the VA coach here for Totally Unleashed. And my job is to help you go from 0 to 5K as soon as possible within a 90-day period, and then 5K and beyond. We've got a new program coming for that, so stay tuned. If you jump on, say hi so I can see you, and make sure my audio is working. My voice still isn't quite back up and running to where it normally is, which is a shame. I'm still sounding a little bit manly, but it was nice having some time home with my little one. Perfect. Comments aren't showing for me just yet. That's okay. I'm sure it will pop up any minute. I'm just going to check. Here we go. Hey, Amy. Hi, beautiful. Perfect. So I don't want to dilly-dally about. I'm going to jump straight in with today's training. I do have some notes, so let me grab those. But today we're talking about how to price your services. And this is something that I get super passionate about, so there's a good chance that I'm going to go on a bit of a rant and really get quite passionate about this, but that's okay. Totally okay, because it's here totally for your benefit. So I want to first talk about the different types of ways that you can package your services. So you can do an hourly rate. Nothing wrong with that. I started out on an hourly rate, $15 an hour. Probably would have got paid more at Macca's, but anyway, that's where we started, right? So you can do an hourly rate. You could do a retainer. So you can do a set number of hours that you get paid for every single month regardless. That can be a really good place to start. If a client wants you for 10 hours a month, you can charge them up front for 10 hours a month, and it's an ongoing rate until you decide otherwise. And the third option are packages. Okay, so packages is where you say, dear Mr. Customer, you will get XYZ from me at this price. So for example, with the social media packages that I run, you get monthly content, so usually X amount of posts. So we would do 12 posts, for example, in the base model. Sorry, there's something in my eye. In the bronze package. So they get 12 posts, they get a monthly catch up for half an hour strategy session, and they get a report at the end of every month, and that's $4.99. Okay, that's what they get. So that's how a package can work. It's outcome based, so they're paying for 12 posts. They're not paying for my time, then they're paying for my expertise, which, believe me, has taken a lot more than the hours to create those graphics and content. Took me a lot longer to refine those skills, right? So I guess that's where the benefit can come in for packages. And I'm kind of just going around this in a bit of a roundabout way, but compared to what I'd nicely written here. There's my alarm. So the benefit to packaging your skills is that you can charge for an outcome. So it doesn't matter if it takes you 2 hours, 3 hours to create social media content, for example. Maybe it took me 3 hours to create 12 posts with graphics, right? If I was charging $15 an hour, I get $45 for that. Are my services and my expertise worth more than that? Absolutely. That's where I would dip into a package and a retainer option. So I would work with businesses for a minimum of 3 months. So then we spend some time together, we get to know each other, I get to really understand the feel and the tone of their brand. And that's how we would do business. Is this making sense? Give me a thumbs up or a yes in the comments if it's making sense. I don't know why I can't see comments on my live today, but I can see there's a number. Oh, there we go. Right, I've got to open it up a different way. Awesome. So if I charge by the hour, based on $15 an hour, which I would never charge now, but it'd be $45 an hour, where I'm just totally leaving money on the table. Totally leaving money on the table. Because it's not like I just woke up today and felt like doing that. I've trained in social media. I've gone and done courses. I've spent years refining my skills in other areas. I used to do all the social media for the rural fire service that I was a part of, the brigade I was a part of. So all of that gets taken into consideration. And this is where a lot of people fall over with their pricing. So the first part, when you consider your pricing, I guess, then comes into account your expertise, your skills, which we spoke about this before, and your experience. Okay. The other side of it is, sorry, I was just writing something, I don't know why. The other side of it is what it means to the client. So if I go to, let me think, an IT provider, for example, an IT provider, a communications specialist, right? And say to him, hi, Mr. IT provider, I need to get a security system on my computer to make sure I don't get any viruses. Can you please jump on and make sure that's all? Can you set all that up for me? Yes, no problem. He's going to charge me $120 an hour. Here's a better analogy. A plumber. Plumber's always better. I don't know why I went with an IT provider. Let's go with a plumber. Hey, Mr. Plumber, my tap's leaking. Could you come over and fix my tap for me? Yep, no problem. Comes in, changes the washers over, goes to leave, $200. It's probably only here for 10 minutes. But the thing is, I can't change that tap. I mean, I could learn, right? I could learn, but I don't know how to right now. Is it important to me that I get that tap fixed? Absolutely. I don't want a leaking tap in my brand new house. Absolutely. Does he have that skill that can come in and help me do that in a heartbeat? Yes, he does. Am I willing to pay for that? Yes, I am. Supply and demand, essentially, is what that comes down to. So he might look at what I do and go, okay, well, she runs a business from home. She charges X amount. I know I can fix this in that amount of time. So therefore, that's what my pricing is. It can be the same thing. Is this making sense? Let me know if this is making sense. Give me a yes in the chat. So when it comes to pricing, in that aspect, super important. Let's say you decide to become a virtual assistant for a plumber and he says to you, I want you to do my invoicing. Yep, perfect. I want you to do my invoicing. I hate doing it. I want to spend more time with my family. Totally realistic thing that a plumber would come to you. Perfect, no problem. He's going to tell you 5 hours a week for you to do the invoicing. Great. He charges $150 an hour. So we're going to look at, my alarm's going to go off again. I don't know why it's not turned off. 150 times by 5, 750. Okay. So you're saving him $750. You're saving him 5 hours. That could be billable hours. What he chooses to do with that time is different. But you're coming in with an hourly rate of like $20, $30 an hour for 5 hours. He's saving $750. You're only getting paid $150. Does that seem fair and equal? No, of course not. So what you can do is you can package it and say, okay, well, over this, each week, I'm going to do this, and this for you. I'm going to do these 5 things for you every week. These are going to be the outcomes you get, and it's going to be $250 a week. What do you think he's going to say? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because you're saving him time. You're giving him back billable hours. He has time with his family. If he chooses to go out on an emergency job, you know what they're like, those plumbers, off they go. It's the perfect scenario. So when I talk about packaging, or pricing, strongly encourage you just to look at the different options. Now, there were some services that I would always do an hourly rate for. Sometimes you can't avoid it, okay? Sometimes you don't want to. The challenges that I came up against when I did an hourly rate were things like people thought that I was on their beck and call all the time. So they could go, oh, I just need hours here and I just need an hour there. And so, I could be working with 10 different people a day. And that got really difficult. So I started to put in place around minimum hours, and I did packages as such, or a retainer, I guess, you would buy bulks of. Okay, so you might get 5 hours, you might get 10 hours, you might pay for 20 hours, and each one would get cheaper. And the problem I now see with that is that it doesn't matter how many hours you buy. My knowledge and my experience and what I know and what I bring to the table for your business, for these businesses, it should never be discounted, ever. Ever, ever, ever. I'm huge on not discounting. So, because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. If you go into a meeting and you're talking about pricing, and they are about it and they want it cheaper, they don't see the value in what you're bringing. There's something missing. There's something really, 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 really important that they need support with. They're not telling you about. Because if you demonstrate value, and if you go in and you demonstrate that you're going to help them and that you're going to make their life easier, and you're doing it in such a way like the plumber, I'm going in, I'm giving you 5 hours back for your family, I'm going to do all your invoicing, I'm going to send it all off, I'm going to chase up any other invoicing that's outstanding each and every week, and you're going to get a report so you know exactly where it's up to. He doesn't have to worry. He sees the value. Okay? But if you go in there and you say, oh yeah, I'll do your invoicing every week, I'll just go in, I'll see what drafts you've got in there, and I'll just send off whatever's there, and that's it. Is he going to see the value in that compared to the first scenario? Absolutely not. So if someone, and I know I'm getting off track here, but if someone is umming and ahhing and arguing with you about pricing and is really caught up on pricing, 9 times out of 10, it's because they don't see the value that you're going to bring to the table. If they're in the back of their mind going, okay, yep, I could probably still just do this myself. Sometimes it can be a pricing thing that they don't see the value in the price that you've given, but generally, they don't see the value in your service. And that's where it all comes unstuck. So, what was I going to go back and say? 10 clients a day. So I started to put in place retainers, which was fine, and it worked for a while. But then what happens is people can go, oh, I don't need you this month. And then all of a sudden you don't have 20 hours of work. And that can be really difficult, especially when this is your sole income you're providing for your family. It's okay, but it can happen. So then you start to put boundaries in place. And that's where outcome-driven results can be really beneficial, because you have a time frame, you have a deadline, you're very clear on expectations from both parties. The other thing, let me stop it instead of snoozing it. Little trick that my coach taught me is around setting alarms, but I forgot to turn it off today for today's live. The other thing that I really struggle with hourly rates is the micromanagement. It broke my heart. It broke my heart. So if I'm charging $50 an hour to go and do XYZ for this customer, and I do that within the hour, or sometimes it's usually the opposite, right? So they ask you to do something, it takes a little bit longer than what was expected. Maybe it's a task that's new to you that they've been doing for a while, and so they expect it to be done in half an hour and it took you 45 minutes. Charging by the hour opens you up for scrutiny, and it opens you up to be micromanaged. Well, why didn't you do that? Why did it take you so long? Why, and so what happens in that situation, like it does with any workplace, it creates tension, and someone's expectations are not being met in that scenario. Now, if you look at a task and you say, yes, I can do that every week, it's going to take me an hour, charge them for an hour, it takes you an hour and a half, yes, you're going to miss out. To an extent, you will miss out. However, you will get quicker. Maybe you need different sort of training. Maybe you just missed this one. Maybe you just misquoted on this occasion. That's okay, because it means that you're going to learn a lesson. What's not okay is having those conversations where you feel devalued and unappreciated. The client feels like their expectations are not met. And that happens really regularly when it comes back to charging by the hour, and it breaks my heart. It really does. It can be quite degrading with not that intention. It's not the intention. The client would never want to degrade you, and you don't ever want to feel undervalued. So we put expectations and boundaries in place that will stop that, prevent that. We change the way things are structured. So as part of Freedom Unlocked, which is the Starting Your VA program that I'm so in love with, and I'm so darn excited that this is kicking off, we go through this. So we pull apart all of your skills, similar to what we spoke about the other week. We pull everything apart and we pull it all back together, and we create packages with you. And we work out what sort of structure you want to run with. If you want to work with hourly, no problem. We'll help you put that together as well. Because pricing is such an important part to get right. And I stuffed around for so long. I reckon I waited whatever it was, 3 months, 6 months even, just messing around with pricing, charging $15, $20 an hour, and so undervalued that, and I just missed making money. Like I worked so much harder than what I needed to work. Liliana missed out on time with me because I was always working around the clock by that point. And I don't want that for anyone else. I want to make sure that you ladies get where you want to be as quickly as possible. I've had a few conversations this week where we've talked about, people starting their VA business part-time and wanting to go to full-time. Perfect. In this program, we will pull it all apart. What does it look like? What does full-time look like for you? What do the hours look like? We do all of that stuff. So what I'm offering at the moment is a free VA blueprint call. So we're going to go through all of that. We're going to go through what the goals are. We're going to go through what you want, where you're trying to get to, pull it all apart and see how we can help you. So I'm going to put that link here below now that I've been rambling for 15 minutes. Let me get the link. I wasn't organized today. I'm a bit of a scatterbrain today, aren't I? If you have any questions, pop them in, tag me if you're watching the replay and you still have questions. I would love to answer them for you. There we go. There's the link in the comments. Super excited to catch up with you ladies. And it is something that I'm really passionate about, which is why I ended up going on a few different tangents then, and I apologize. But it's just, you leave money on the table, you work harder than you need to, you miss out and you sacrifice things that it's not required. It's really not required. And it just gets my goat that people don't teach this. It really drives me crazy. So if this is something that you need help with, if you're ready to take the leap and start your own virtual assistant business, if you are wanting to just start with a few hours a week, just adding to your current income, let's do it. I'm so excited. I can't wait to catch up with you ladies. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you very soon.
Thank you for joining me on the Jess Byrnes Show. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And I'd love to invite you to come and hang out in my free Facebook community for service-based women stepping into their CEO energy. Please feel free also to leave a review, as this will help other amazing women just like you find us on your preferred podcast channel. Until next time, stay empowered and totally unleashed.